Arcadian Vanguard presents the Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Saturday, December 24th, 2022. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today's Christmas Eve edition with last night's pre-taped episode of WWE Smackdown featuring matches taped on December 16th at the Allstate Arena in Chicago. The Bloodline made an appearance on the show with WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn promising that they will defeat Kevin Owens and a returning John Cena on the December 30th SmackDown at the Amalie Arena in Tampa, Florida.
Because on December 30th in Tampa, you already know what the Tribal Chief's gonna do. I'm gonna smash somebody. And it ain't no secret, I made multiple millions of dollars by whooping John Cena, by whooping KO, because that's who I am and that's what I do.
Fellow Bloodline members Jimmy and Jey Uso then successfully defended their undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship against Hit Row, with Jimmy pinning Top Dollar. The win marked 15 successful televised title defenses for the Usos in 2022. Raquel Rodriguez emerged victorious from a gauntlet match to become the new number one contender to Ronda Rousey's SmackDown Women's Championship. Rodriguez pinned surprise entrant Shayna Baszler in the final fall of the match.
Raquel from behind, rolling up Shayna Baszler, shoulders down, she did it! It backfired on Ronda!
In other results, Braun Strowman and Ricochet beat Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci in a Miracle on 34th Street fight in the main event, and Rey Mysterio defeated Angel of Los Lotharios. Later in the evening, AEW presented a pre-taped episode of Rampage featuring matches taped Wednesday night at the Freeman Coliseum in San Antonio, Texas. In the main event, Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal teamed up to defeat Billy Gunn and Anthony Bowens, one half of the AEW World Tag Team Champions of the Acclaimed, when Lethal pinned Gunn after the Lethal Injection finisher. The team of Top Flight and AR Fox won the Three Kings Christmas Casino Trios Royal. The match, made up entirely of three-man teams, came down to Top Flight and AR Fox last eliminating the Blackpool Combat Club, with Hangman Adam Page coming down to ringside to attack Jon Moxley, leading to the finish in which Claudio Castagnoli was isolated and eliminated by Top Flight. For their win, Top Flight and AR Fox received $300,000 in storyline.
They're trying to figure that out too, Tony.
The thrust kick.
It's like King Kong in there.
And now,
They did it! The teamwork of the Martins.
The winners of the $300,000 Three Kings Christmas Casino Trios Royale, AR Fox and Top Flight.
That was a hell of a match, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you.
$300,000. AR Fox comes in to get his share. What a Christmas bonus for these three.
Going back to Minneapolis with more money in their pockets than when they got here.
TBS champion Jade Cargill extended her undefeated record to 45-0 with a quick win over Vert Vixen in a title eliminator match.
Up in the corner and
Did you see the height on that?
the cover and the win.
Didn't even need the J there. He's your winner.
The TBS champion, Jade Cargill.
Well, as Monsoon would say, good night, nurse.
Good night, nurse. And I think Vert Vixen is going to need a nurse after that kick to the face that Jade Cargill just gave her.
Big 45-0, man.
Also on the show, Eddie Kingston and Ortiz issued a challenge to the House of Black. With some injury news, here's the Wrestling News' Lou Kipilman.
Drew McIntyre has been pulled from next week's post-Christmas tour of SmackDown house shows, most notably Monday's annual holiday show at Madison Square Garden, with PW Insider reporting that he has still not been cleared to wrestle. McIntyre had previously been reported to be recovering from what was described as a ruptured eardrum, but had been expected to be back in action in time for the holiday house show tour. He had been scheduled to team with Braun Strowman against the Usos on the tour, but has instead been replaced by Kevin Owens. The Scottish former WWE World Champion has not wrestled since WWE's November 27th house show in Portland, Maine. For the Wrestling News, I'm Lou Kipilman.
In more WWE news, the company is postponing its planned live event in India, which was originally scheduled for January 18th, at the Gachibowli Indoor Stadium in Hyderabad, India, with the Wrestling Observer newsletter reporting that the decision to postpone came from WWE's media partner in India, Sony 6. The reason given for the postponement is that Sony 6 is in the midst of a merger with Z Media Corporation and wants to save the show until the merger is complete in April. The event is expected to be recorded for the local Indian market as well as Peacock and the WWE Network, but that has not been confirmed. WWE has not held a show in India since December of 2017. With some National Wrestling Alliance news, here's the Wrestling News' Lou Kipilman.
The NWA's next pay-per-view event, Nuff Said, will take place February 11th in Tampa, Florida, according to an announcement on the company's Twitter account yesterday. The specific venue has not been announced, and neither have any matches, although NWA World Champion Tyrus is featured on the event poster. Tyrus won the NWA title from Trevor Murdoch last month at the NWA's last pay-per-view, Hard Times 3. For the Wrestling News, I'm Lou Kipilman.
And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the Wrestling News 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the Wrestling News across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the Wrestling News. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.